Donald Trump has always been a master of controversy, a figure who commands attention and divides opinions. But now, with his second term as President of the United States well underway, a new wave of speculation has erupted, one that ties him back to Russia in a way no one saw coming. For years, rumors of Trump's connections to Russia have circulated. But what if I told you that recent events suggest something far more sinister? Something happening behind closed doors, beyond the reach of mainstream media, hidden in the shadows of global diplomacy. What if Trump has already made a secret deal with Russia, one that could change the balance of power forever? It all started with a meeting, one that wasn't supposed to happen. Leaks from government insiders suggest that, mere days before a crucial policy shift regarding NATO and international sanctions, Trump held an undisclosed conversation with high-ranking Russian officials. No transcripts, no official White House briefing, just whispers from those close to the administration. Why was this meeting kept from the public? What was discussed? And more importantly, what did Trump agree to? Think back to Trump's first presidency, when accusations of Russian interference in the 2016 election nearly led to his downfall. The investigations, the denials, the relentless pursuit of the truth. Back then, he barely survived the scandal. So why, after all these years, would he risk another direct connection to Russia? The answer may lie in his obsession with legacy, with power, and with ensuring that his influence extends beyond his presidency. Could he be setting the stage for something even bigger than before? A closer look at recent policies gives us more clues. Within weeks of his re-election, Trump announced an unexpected easing of economic sanctions on key Russian industries. The official reason? Encouraging diplomatic cooperation. But experts aren't buying it. They point to the timing, the secrecy, the suddenness of the decision. Why would a president known for his aggressive stance on American dominance suddenly extend a hand to a nation he once called an adversary? What does he stand to gain from this? And then, there are the money trails, financial ties between Trump's private business empire and Russian oligarchs that never quite disappeared. Reports indicate that Russian investments in Trump-affiliated businesses have surged since his return to office. Some sources claim that wealthy Russian figures, many with direct ties to the Kremlin, have been funneling money into American real estate and political lobbying efforts linked to Trump's allies. If this is true, it raises a disturbing question. Is Trump acting in America's best interest, or is he beholden to foreign influence? To truly understand the gravity of this situation, let's go deeper. Let's talk about the silent players, the billionaires, the diplomats, the shadow figures who operate behind the curtain. Trump's inner circle has always been filled with figures whose allegiances aren't always clear. Some of them, it turns out, have been frequent travelers to Moscow over the last few years, engaging in discussions that, according to anonymous sources, go beyond mere diplomacy. These are not just friendly visits. These are strategic moves, calculated plays in a game far larger than any one election cycle. One of the most chilling pieces of evidence comes from a leaked document, allegedly from within the State Department, detailing a shift in U.S. foreign policy toward Russia. The language is vague, but the implications are staggering. Softened military presence in Eastern Europe, relaxed cybersecurity measures, and a mysterious clause regarding mutual cooperation in global energy markets. In simple terms, it's a roadmap to increased Russian influence with America's explicit blessing. And if Trump is the one signing off on it, then the implications are massive. But what if this isn't just about policy? What if there's something personal at play? Trump's admiration for strongman leaders has never been a secret. His public praise for Vladimir Putin, his willingness to overlook Russia's past transgressions, his open disdain for traditional U.S. alliances. Could it be that Trump sees Putin not just as an ally, but as a figure to emulate? Could this secret deal be less about politics and more about securing a personal legacy, one that cements Trump's role as the ultimate disruptor of global order? Of course, the White House denies everything. When questioned about these alleged meetings, officials brush them off as fabrications from the liberal media. But isn't that always the response? Deny, discredit, distract. It's a playbook we've seen before. And if history has taught us anything, it's that where there's smoke, there's fire. The more they deny, the more suspicious it looks. So where does this leave us? with more questions than answers, with a story that refuses to be buried. If Trump truly has made a secret deal with Russia, what does it mean for the future of the United States? Will we wake up one day to find policies that favor Russia at America's expense? Will we discover that decisions that seem minor today were actually calculated moves in a long-term game? And most importantly, will we ever know the full truth? One thing is certain, the world is watching. And the deeper we dig, the harder it becomes to ignore the signs. Is Trump making America great again? Or is he making a deal that could change the course of history? One that no one was supposed to see? The deeper we dive into Donald Trump's secret dealings with Russia, the more unsettling the picture becomes. What began as whispers of back-channel diplomacy has now turned into a tangled web of influence, power plays, and hidden agendas. And if the latest reports are to be believed, we might be looking at one of the most significant covert agreements in modern history. The question remains, what did Trump promise Russia, and what did he get in return? The timeline is critical. Just days before his controversial policy shift on NATO and sanctions, private jets belonging to Russian oligarchs were tracked landing at an undisclosed airstrip just outside Washington, D.C. Security logs confirm that certain White House officials were off the radar for hours. It's too much to be a coincidence, and insiders claim that these were not routine diplomatic visits. Sources close to the administration have leaked that the real negotiation wasn't just about sanctions or trade. It was about influence. Trump, known for his obsession with control, may have made a deal not just to reshape foreign policy, but to cement his own power, potentially with Russian backing. The implications of this are chilling. If true, the very foundation of America's democratic stability could be under threat. Let's consider another disturbing clue: the sudden and inexplicable removal of key figures in the intelligence community who had previously been vocal about Russian interference. High-ranking officials who spent years warning about foreign influence were either forced to resign or were dismissed under vague pretenses. Why? Could it be that they knew too much? Were they obstacles in Trump's plan? Then there's the financial angle. Trump's business ties to Russia have always been a point of contention, but new financial leaks show a sharp increase in Russian-backed investments flowing into shell companies linked to Trump's inner circle. The paper trail is murky, intentionally so, but forensic accountants and investigative journalists are starting to piece it together. The question isn't whether the money exists, it's what it was exchanged for. One particularly damning piece of evidence comes from a recently surfaced recording allegedly capturing a conversation between a Russian diplomat and a White House aide. The conversation hints at an understanding, an arrangement between the two nations that was never meant to see the light of day. The recording hasn't been authenticated yet, but if it is, it could be the smoking gun that proves everything. But what if Trump isn't acting alone? What if there are more players involved in this? Some reports suggest that a select few members of Congress may have had knowledge of this deal, or worse, may have actively facilitated it. If true, this isn't just a case of foreign influence. It's a potential act of national betrayal. What happens now? The media is circling, intelligence agencies are digging, and the public is starting to ask questions that can't be ignored. If this deal is real, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for Trump, but for the entire political system as we know it. The world is watching, waiting to see if the truth will finally come out, or if it will be buried like so many secrets before it. But what if this is just the beginning? What if this secret deal is just a piece of a much larger puzzle, one that connects not just Russia, but other global players who stand to benefit from Trump's presidency? There are whispers of other meetings, some taking place outside the United States in undisclosed locations far from the public eye. Investigators are now looking into a chain of offshore accounts, linked to Russian energy firms and intermediaries with known connections to Trump's business empire. Could this be the financial leverage Russia has over Trump, ensuring his compliance in an agenda much larger than the American public realizes? One theory suggests that Trump's recent military decisions, including reducing America's presence in Eastern Europe, were not simply policy shifts, but prearranged moves designed to weaken NATO and give Russia a strategic advantage. If this is true, then every decision Trump has made regarding foreign policy must now be scrutinized through the lens of this alleged secret agreement. Who truly benefits from these moves? America or Russia? Further complicating matters is the increasing number of former Trump associates who are now speaking out, some anonymously, fearing for their safety. One insider claims that Trump's private meetings are often held in locations that are nearly impossible to surveil, ensuring that no official records exist. Another source alleges that Trump's closest advisors have strict instructions on how to communicate sensitive information, using methods deliberately designed to avoid detection. This level of secrecy is unprecedented, even by the standards of modern political maneuvering. And then there is the most disturbing question of all. What if this deal isn't just about money or policy? What if the stakes are much higher? Some experts believe that Russia's long-term strategy has always been about destabilization, undermining American institutions, fostering division, and ensuring that the U.S. remains embroiled in internal conflicts rather than asserting global dominance. If Trump's presidency plays into this strategy, then what we are witnessing is not just corruption, it is an existential threat to democracy itself. So where does this leave us? With more questions than answers, with a story that refuses to be buried. If Trump truly has made a secret deal with Russia, what does it mean for the future of the United States? Will we wake up one day to find policies that favor Russia at America's expense? Will we discover that decisions that seem minor today were actually calculated moves in a long-term game? And most importantly, will we ever know the full truth? One thing is certain, the world is watching. And the deeper we dig, the harder it becomes to ignore the signs. Is Trump making America great again? Or is he making a deal that could change the course of history, one that no one was supposed to see? No matter what the answer is, the consequences of this secret deal, if it exists, will be felt for generations. And as the investigation continues, we must ask ourselves, what other secrets are still hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered?